Hello, everyone. Today we having fun. We are creating subnets from a script. Tasks, very simple. We are going to clone a repository. We are going to deploy the subnets in the VPC, and we'll verify that we have deployed the subnets, and then we'll delete them at the end. So there are requirements in order to follow what I'm doing. So make sure you go to the channel and find the requirements tutorial, follow that. And then after that, make sure that you have also done the VPC. So follow this script, follow the tutorial going over VPC. So once you've done that, you should be here where you should have a VPC named Network Dev 1. We do have Network Dev 1 in Oregon and in US East 1. And today we are working on subnets. So here we are at the command line, my favorite place to be. You can see here, this is the Maendeleolab _ VPC repo. All right, so this is the repo for Maendeleolab _ subnet. We'll come here, make a copy of that link. Just make sure when you clone this repo, make sure that it is at the same location as Maendeleolab _ VPC. This is important for dependencies. Just remember in the cloud, we work with dependencies. So I'm going to paste it there, git clone, successful. On the CD there, and here we have all of our files. And just remember, my repository have the same structure. We have a build file, and here we store all the functions that we need. And these functions are basically making API calls using AWS CLI. So I have a function to make a subnet, to get the subnet ID, destroy subnet, erase. Very simple, not much to it. And what I do, I reference these functions into the configuration file. The configuration file is the deploy files. And let me go over that one. And the structure is very simple. I have about 3 or 4 sections, but let's go over those sections. First section is I define the public subnets. Remember, we're working with 2 availability zones, US East 1 and US West 2. Those are the 2 regions that I'm working with right now, but you can add more regions. It's up to you. We're defining public subnets, public subnet 1 and public subnet 2. For each of the region, and my prefix length is a /24. Below the public subnet section, I am defining the private subnets, subnet 1 and subnet 2 eventually. And then the next section is for availability zones. And then the last one is the regions list. When we deployed our VPCs, we had 2 CIDRs. So I'm only working with the primary CIDR. I'm not worried about this as yet. At some point, we'll work with the secondary ones that's further down the road. But for now, just for simplicity, we are going to keep it with the first one. So here I'm using a loop. I'm going to create public subnet 1. You can see this is the name. This name will be used in US East 1 and also in US West 2, right? You'll have the same, the first public subnet will be this name. The second public subnet in availability zone B will be this one in both regions. Then we also creating the private subnet, same method. This is the name that will be used for the first private subnet in availability in the first availability zone will be this one. For the second availability zone, it will be this one. This is for the private subnet. So very simple, very straightforward. And one of the things that you must remember and also pay attention to here, you can see I'm using this name, right? This is the VPC name. And this is allowing us to get the VPC ID of this VPC where we are going to deploy this name. So one thing I want to make sure that everybody understands is this. This is important. We are creating subnets in this VPC. This VPC name is case sensitive, and this is the tag name. So this script is looking up for your tags, this tag. And this tag is case sensitive. You have to make sure that you are consistent with your labels. So I'm using this tag. Let's say you had several VPCs and you want to add subnets to them. You just need the tag name. And with the tag name, you make sure that you reference it in the get VPC ID. And that's the key in this script, is knowing how to reference things. And this way, it makes it very easy. We can create this as a building block without having to statically come back and reference static IDs. So here you never see any of the resources IDs because I'm using the tag name to reference them. So this is all there is to it. My recommendation again is to make sure that you run this script as it is. Don't make any changes yet. That way you can become familiar, see how it works, see what the outcome is. And then from that point on, as you become familiar with the process, then you can start making changes in your environment. So we're gonna run this, and if everything looks good, it should work. So now we are deploying resources. If I go over the subnet, it's creating, you can see that, right? It's creating subnets. And now we have all four. If I go, same thing here. Look at this. So we are set, we are good to go. We have deployed our subnets. Very simple. If you remember, we have cloned our repository. We deployed the subnets in the VPC. And now we verified that they were there, right? We verified them in a console, they're working. And then the last part is we're going to test our delete script. So here, I'm going to test this, and all we're doing is using this command. And now we are deleting. Remember, if your subnet has any dependencies, it's not going to be deleted. So we are taking advantage of AWS CLI, idempotency under the hood. If I refresh, all the subnets are gone in US East 1. I'll come to Oregon. Everything has been deleted. So this is good, it's working. We've confirmed that our script is working as expected. We can delete as well. So this pretty much wraps it up for us for today. We created subnets from a script. You saw the process and how I deployed them. If you run into any issues, please drop a comment. And hopefully this is making sense. We're developing a network as code. And this is the process. It's a long journey, but it's a fun one. So next, I will work on prefix list, and then I'll come back and share that with you as well. So the next thing we'll do is deploy prefix lists. And the reason why we are deploying prefix lists, please look into it, is to simplify how we route traffic to our destinations, and also how we filter traffic using security groups. So a prefix list in AWS VPC is very powerful. Take a look it up if you have the time, but this is what we'll do next time. Until next time, I am Pat at Maendeleolab. Stay focused, stay curious. Salut.